So this is really just a remembering of who you are. And the more we deepen into this, the more we start to feel into those resistances and how they come up, how they show up. And it really is just a choice. It's a choice of, do I want to embrace this and move into this, allow and let go, or do I want to close off and hide myself and suffer? And the more we start tuning into what's actually happening, the more starts coming up, and it's going to feel uncomfortable, but that's okay, because through that is where we find the grace, is where we find the freedom, is embracing all of it, embracing all of those feelings, everything that's coming through. Is this like anything that wants to grow? Say if it's like a flower bed or flower, it has to come out through the ground, through the soil. It has to push its way through. It has to suffer its way through. And a flower is like literally a divine symbol of the infinite. It just is. It's just pure divinity. And a flower doesn't look at the others, and it doesn't exclude. It doesn't judge. It doesn't have a story about itself. It doesn't stand in the corner and say, oh, that flower's, oh, that's blooming a bit too quickly, or anything like that. It embraces all of it, and they grow together. And so that is just absolute surrender. Like, that is what nature is complete surrender to its own and our shared divinity. And when we really start to deepen and see our nature, we do see that we are in everyone, and really just tune into that. Like, what would it feel like to be this person? What would it feel like to be this person? Not just think it, but actually know it and feel it. And the more you do that, you see that you are them. And it's not like you are them in form. It's not like you are them in their uniqueness. You are them in your essence and your being. And that is infinite here. That is infinite right there. And it's not just this. I think we have that still. There's a lot of people that have that naivety of like, it's just this, like I'm the body, I'm the thoughts, everything is super serious, what's going to happen to me? And no, it's like who we are is shared, is infinite, doesn't die, because that is just an idea, that is just something that you've created. And you exist right now everywhere. Everywhere. Not just in this plane, but other planes and other worlds. There's all of it. But what's important and what we're here for is to realize our infinity in this plane. And as the infinite, it's like it's chosen to come down into what seems like your unique, separate avatar, which is really just all of us as the infinite waking up to itself. It's chosen to come down. And it's like if you could imagine an ocean, right? There's a vast ocean, and the ocean sends some bubbles. It sends some bubbles up to the surface. It sends some bubbles up. And the bubbles, when they get to the surface, they feel like they separate from the ocean. It's like, oh, well, now I'm a bubble, and it gets to it gets to experience sort of separating or sort of seeing the surface. But then the bubble feels like it's that when it's really just the ocean, and it feels like, oh, I don't want to pop. Shit, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen to me? I don't want to pop. And then, and then it just resists that and fears that, and then eventually it does pop, and it just returns to the ocean, which it always was. So it's no different to this, and it's not where we can learn how to, as we're realizing and knowing that we are multidimensional, we do exist out of space-time, we will see like there's so much possible for us as consciousness that we literally we have no idea about, but we do know about because we are it. We've just forgotten. And then we can embrace that in form. We can embrace our uniqueness as individuals, but also that comes from that deeper place of true source, true creativity, true intelligence. So it's just completely embracing what wants to come through. Completely embrace it. Breathing. Just breathe as much as you can. Every moment you're just breathing, allowing, being. And then there's nothing to really fear. There's nothing to fear. It's like, what is there to be afraid about right now as your eternal self? Absolutely nothing. There's nothing to be afraid about. And, that exists outside of the story, that exists outside of the idea of you and others. So it's dropping. We're moving out of this world of ideas and beliefs, and this is how it needs to be done. They're doing this incorrectly, or it's the pointing the fingers. No, it's consciousness waking up to itself. So whether or not you resonate with this, or you decide to go, oh, that's not for me, or you deny it, it's inevitable that it's just happening, whether you like it or not. Consciousness is waking up to itself, and it just has to be embraced at some point. It's just there's the constant resistance and tension until you just allow, open, and embrace. And then you see that, wow, I really created this whole thing, this whole idea, this whole story that was never me. I never needed to shackle myself. I was always free.